time on the wilds of Valandiir, the Crown Collectors had ascended to the mountain of the Taliesin Monastery, home to Maeven and her monastery brothers and sisters. On the way there, you had encountered a pair of coiling, twisted like serpentine creatures, winged beasts flying through the air with elemental powers, as it seemed. And before too long, they disappeared into the mist of the forest around you. And you learned very quickly through Maeven that they were perhaps not as ill-intentioned as you'd think, but perhaps having a bit of fun. You made your way to the Taliesin Monastery and gained entry by way of the main gate, guarded by a Goliath monk named Akiva, who barred entry at first until squabbling with Maeven, realizing you were all friendlies, and granted you entry in. Also running into some of Maeven's old acquaintances was the towering dragonborn Shard, undoubtedly an old acquaintance of Maeven, perhaps a training brother or even a master. Difficult to say age of dragonborn sometimes. And the bubbly and dart-talented Tosh, a girlfriend who greeted the group, twisting her staff and just looking delightful. After admitting to her comrades that you all bring weird news and in need of assistance and guidance of the western tiefling town of Anorak, you booked passage, are waiting your boat, and spending a couple days at the monastery, recharging your batteries, getting to know the local flora and fauna, and that is where we picked up. You had all just sort of confessed this entity that you've been encountering and what to do about it to Shard, who referred that it might be time for you, meaning Maeven, to see Master Zhang Wen. And upon hearing that, Maeven just kind of gives a solemn nod to Shard and gives him just a deep hug. And she gets kind of lost in his shoulders and big giant white muscles. Kirbish, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. All right, 17. Are you?
17.
Okay. Didn't know if you were muted or what. I couldn't hear you.
No, I'm unmuted.
That's okay.
Hi,
17, yeah.
I don't know if I can hear people because Discord's flashing like people are talking. Can someone put something in the chat if people are talking?
Oh, no, we gotcha. I can hear you just fine, Ellie. Yep. And it looks like Steph just hopped on. Is that true?
So we're in the process of hopping on.
Or in the process of hopping on. That's cool. Oh, we lost Ellie.
Sorry,
and you know what? You guys know what's great is I'm also in the middle of a huge thunderstorm, so I've been losing internet all day. So while my phone probably is still connected through Discord, sometimes I may have Roll20 issues, which is very fun. Yeah, so with a wisdom save of 17, Kirvish, you can see Maeven and Shard having this moment. What do you think in this little pocket of time that she kind of is being grasped by this huge dragonborn monk guy? He's got these wide shoulder mantle pads, a long yellow cape.
Oh, you cut out.
Did I? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You just kind of cut out.
Oh, thank God. I thought it was my audio that was wrong.
So
Boy, here we go.
Big shoulders cape, and that's where you lost me.
Oh, big shoulders cape. Yeah, that's it. Like, I'm just asking. With a wisdom save, you're pretty collected in your emotional response right now. I'm just curious what Kirvish thinks of all of this and who this guy is.
All right. Yeah, he's a big dude. I'm not intimidated by big dragonborn. I mean, my brother's the same size. So it's nothing I'm not used to. I'm like, okay, then just that song, you say he's just a friend, but you say he's just a friend. Oh, baby. No. I'm not bothered.
Okay. Maeven, as you pull away from Shard, his large kind of icy blue, almost like they're made out of carved sapphires, his icy blue eyes look down at you, and he just kind of gives you this very troubled look of, he basically said, it's time you go see the master. You know what that entails. Might do you to perhaps take a look around the temple a little bit, and maybe check out your old quarters and such before making that kind of decision.
Just tour Shard before we get ready to go see him.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So I'll head off and just give like the what is it? Can't remember.
The HGTV house tour.
Yeah, there we go. And this is this, and this is that. It's like cribs, but like austere.
Definitely. Yeah, you guys are currently in like the main entrance chamber of the temple proper itself. The school is kind of a building that is built into the side of the mountain. That kind of goes further down the path. You're in the large kind of where a lot of people live, and you're also in a building that descends down into the mountain. And starting from 3 or 4 floors below, you find yourselves in what could be the most complete library you have ever seen. There are pillars surrounded with stacks of books neatly organized and situated. I'm going to need a perception check with advantage from you right off the bat. Yeah, it's very, it's very, what's the scene from Game of Thrones where he goes to Old Town or whatever and sees the huge tower of library? 19, yeah, you can see that there are books that would interest you if you were given some time to peruse them. You're seeing subject matter on alchemy and early signs of or kind of like early dippings into non-magical scientific studies, like proper chemistry, where you're just having natural reactions between elements and things like that. You're seeing these books being well preserved and well taken care of, as you see monks moving about with little carts stacked with books and pulling a book down, and you see them carefully taking an oil skin and washing the cover, and then closing the book and putting it back and drawing another. So this place is well respecting of the knowledge carried within, and you just melt with curiosity. You really, at this moment, I would say your passing wisdom would not prevent you from wanting to stray from the group and just read everything in here.
The lore bard too is kind of drooling as well.
Yeah. Let's have a perception check from you too. Your eyes are darting around. Maeven's, I'm sure, doing her best to point things out as she probably hurriedly goes to another location. I don't know if the library was Maeven's favorite place.
I mean, it wasn't not. It was fine, but not her focus.
25 on my perception.
Yeah, you're seeing kind of the same thing briefly that saw, kind of a bridge between magical and non-magical scientific experimentation. But you're like, yep, this exists. Let's take a look over here, and you see rows and rows of maps. rolled up, coiled up. Some of them are strewn out on tables. These maps are highly, highly detailed and very regional specific. And just at a glance, with a 25, that's good. 25 is a good, like, fast passing glance at things. You definitely see a detailed map of what looks like the Far East, the Blighted Shores, to be specific. You've only ever seen them on a map, and you've seen, like, it looks like it could be maybe a treacherous place. There's a capital, Urgnisil, somewhere near a lava lake or a river, and there's just a couple of geographical things that you've seen. This is much more detailed, and with some recollection, I think you'd probably be able to draw. We'll do some rolls as far as how much of it you got, but you did catch sight of this, that it is definitely a detailed map of the East. Not sure how far north or south it depicts, but we can get to that later. You also see what looks like a lot of religious scripture and literature strewn about this one table. There are several golden symbols of Pelor on the table with chains, and you see a couple of monks. They look like they are on their knees beside the bench that these books are on. Looks like they're currently praying. And so she's kind of taking you through this place. Is there anything anybody would like to do while she's sort of bringing you through the library to what is, can only be the next part of the temple?
I think Iona's going to look and see if they've got a section on Elven history.
Okay. Let's get let's have an investigation check from you. You're looking for a specific subject. A 15 is good enough. It's a pretty low DC. Seems that this library is much more forthgiving, and there are sort of labeled shelves, and everything seems to be categorized and organized in a way that you can kind of find certain places. And if you were so inclined to, say, whisper to somebody pushing a book cart, you would find that they would be very generously open to where these places are that you're looking. So you're directed to 3 or 4 kind of little alleys away. You can kind of hear where Maeven is sort of whispering to you guys and where you are and things like that. So they're within earshot. You're directed to a section of books, and it's not necessarily a comprehensive Elven history. There is, books on the origins of sort of the species and where they came from. And with a 15, I'd have to ask, what it is you're looking for, and we'll find out if they have it.
I think it's more that she wants to know if they've got it so that she can come back to just peruse things a bit more later. So I think she'll rejoin the group, but she's sort of marked that once the tour is over, this is something that she could revisit.
Okay. Yeah. It's easy to find. It doesn't even look like it's like all they have. You're kind of finding out that the shelves of this library extend into various wings that sort of spread out, as the monastery itself is quite vast when it's built into the mountain itself, and the library is no exception. So that there are sections that have like a general sort of knowledge on a certain subject, but maybe directs you to another wing of the library where it's much more extensive on that subject. So this is sort of general knowledge, and you also know where you can go if you want to get deep into it. I will say that no matter what you guys find, all of the knowledge found here is sort of limited to the Third Age and maybe half of the Second Age. You get the feeling like the age of all these books, nothing predates any of that. There is a section on magic It doesn't seem like it's organized like a how-to guide sort of thing, more like just documenting these spells and these effects and things like that. You find a number of books on the arcane that interest you. It doesn't exactly seem like this is a bookstore or even like a borrowing library. But if you wanted to make a couple rolls, we can see if there are any levels of spells that you see, and maybe can spend the paper and ink on later.
Want investigation? Do you want?
Yeah, definitely gonna need investigation from as you're kind of pouring through, and then I'll accompany that with, let's do 2d8. Just roll me a 2d8, and we'll see how many books you sort of scoop up and are able to absorb.
So investigation is 25.
Okay, pretty good.
And 2d8. 5.
5. All right. So I'm going to say that you find 5 levels of spells that you're able to copy if you want to spend the token, the components and the gold and whatnot. 5 levels of spells. Just shoot me a message on what you settle on, and so you also find, I'm going to give you a couple for free. Yeah, you definitely find, do you have Dimension Door already? You have Dimension Door. All right, let me get back to you as I generate this list. As you kind of, and you're actually not really too far away from the group. You're able to kind of snag these books and sort of peruse them as you walk, and you kind of promised yourself that you'll put them back when you're done. Maeven, do I got your stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. You find yourself entering a place where you can either go to the dormitories, and mind you're all on a timeline of not tomorrow morning and not the morning after, but that second morning. After that second morning is when the boat is due to launch, carrying you and various other passengers from a dock that sort of surrounds the bottom of the mountain and hugs the ocean, and it's kind of like a little tiny port town fishing village. And you guys are able to secure a passenger boat that's going to the Morov. That's going to happen in the third morning.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we just move along into the dorms, and I always pictured it like bunks.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 high along the walls. It's nothing. Nothing. There's nothing fancy. It's very plain and simple and rough-hewn, but there's hundreds of bunks probably. Like, and these are the dorms. They do have individual rooms for higher ups.
Yeah.
The more elders of the people, but generally speaking, this is where everybody stays.
Yeah, and you kind of moved around when you were young. You moved around from one part of the dormitory to another. Sometimes you'd make friends with somebody and you kind of switch bunks with someone next to them, and but you moved around a lot. There was, however, one bunk that you dwelled in longer than some of the other ones, and next to the bunk that you're staying in, you kind of instinctively look over at it, and you kind of sit. It's the middle bunk, as is the one across that you're looking at. You kind of sit on it real quick, and you glance to a familiar spot, and you still see something carved into the wood of the bunk above you, and just kind of brings a quick memory until you notice that there are other names and other little words of wisdom or naughtiness carved that you didn't recognize before.
She'll just like run her finger along it, smile, and kind of laugh to herself and keep moving.
Yeah. So there are guest quarters, and as you said, there are parts of the dorms that are sectioned off with, there's no locked doors here. There are doorways draped with kind of beads and curtains that lead to what you know to be kind of personal quarters for people. It's not really an open door policy, as it's pretty rude, to walk into someone's dorm. But you know that a room is considered vacant, unoccupied, if if there is no curtain, or it's swept to the side so that you're able to see into it. There aren't like any communal rooms like you guys are able to rent in the nicer parts of cities. So it's either individual guest rooms or sleeping with everybody else.
Pig pile.
Show them outside the training grounds and all that jazz, all the fun, interesting places.
Yeah, and just let's see, who's got really great passive perception? I would say probably Iona and
I do.
Koza, who you all know that Koza, before you guys descended into the library, he had decided that he wanted to change into a bird and just sort of fly around and enjoy the scenery, and that he would catch up with you guys later. Baranor is there. Luna is not here with him. She must have darted into the woods somewhere, but Baranor is walking around, and he doesn't seem particularly interested in all these books. But once you guys get to the dormitory, that's when he starts kind of looking around and maybe studying things and looking at where people's keep their possessions. The training grounds is there's several places to train. There's the main dojo floor of the temple itself. That's where there's several squares made out of bamboo flooring and matting that that people go to individually spar. There's also the main outside sort of a kata stance area where you see lots of students in unison making movements that they've been trained on, and a lot of disciplined grunting and such. And that there's also the picturesque training circle that sits on the cliff's edge, overlooking the ocean to the west, with a huge, and I mean immense, cherry blossom tree overhanging most of this circle. It's where you have personally sparred with pretty much everybody that you knew here, and it's kind of your favorite place to meditate and also fight.
Isn't it pretty? She'll just look up at the tree and smile.
It is indeed very impressive. So when are we expecting this audience with the master of the?
Yeah, did we get a timeline or anything?
I mean, he kind of left it up to you, and I'm just saying that you understand that it's not just walking up to his office or his house. It's he's at the top of the mountain, and you know what that means. It's a bit of a thing.
Yeah, more stairs.
Yeah, you know it's not just stairs.
Yeah, it's climbing. We're doing a lot of climbing.
So, we can decide if everyone wants to go up the mountain, or if some of you wish to stay behind and make use of amenities, or you guys can get to that later. It's totally up to you. Who wants to stay where?
What is this meeting exactly going to entail? Who really needs to go? Let's decide that amongst ourselves.
Well, I need to go.
Yeah, obviously. Nathan.
Well, I was kind of gone for a while, so I need somebody that has a lot more information than I do to come with.
Okay, so one of the main party needs to go. Okay.
Yeah.
And how long is it? How long is it to get up to that area?
Maybe you would know that.
Yeah.
You know that it takes you perhaps a couple hours to scale the mountain pass, but that's you.
Yeah. Couple hours, maybe a little bit longer.
Okay, that's for you. So for me, half a day. Okay.
Probably not quite that long, but
All right, 40% of a day.
okay, there we go.
Yeah, it is about late midday right now. When you guys had your transportation mishap, instead of teleporting straight here, you found yourself a few hours outside of, your intended target. So by now it's about, late midday, 2-3 o'clock.
You can go now, and then when we get back, it'll be time for the evening meal.
We could do that, or we could, take off at first light tomorrow.
It could work.
He won't be offended if we, wait till tomorrow.
No,
Oh, cool.
should be okay.
Yeah, because I don't
Especially.
You guys definitely.
Mollywalloped.
You also notice that everybody kind of knows you're here. By the way, you've seen people look at you. You guys have been here for about maybe an hour, 2 hours at the most, and there's whispers around the temple. People look at you and whisper to each other. Also, you all notice that you're always being followed by 3 or 4 what look like attendant monks. They're very, very plainly dressed in yellow and white robes, keeping themselves stoic, keeping themselves as small as possible, while carrying little towels and things. And none of you really know exactly how to politely interact with these without being overbearing yourselves. And you also noticed that Daunt is no longer with the party.
Okay.
I will say, who's got blind sight?
I have 10 feet of blind sight.
Okay, I'm gonna write you a message.
Message.
There you go. So,
Okay.
Baranor kind of is looking out over the cliff's edge as you guys are kind of look like you're sort of making your way away from. And why don't I put this in the chat just to give everybody an idea what we're looking at here. As far as the ocean's edge, where this cliff is, it's quite picturesque. And Baranor and Luna just kind of hang out here, and they just kind of look at you, and Baranor just kind of has a seat and looks up at you guys and says, if it's all the same to you guys, you mind if I kind of hang here for a while and maybe take Luna into the woods nearby down the mountain?
Not at all. It's one of the best meditation spots in the entire monastery, I promise.
Yeah, he just kind of sits on his squats on his knees and just kind of looks out at the what wouldn't be a sunset like in that picture, but definitely a widespread ocean horizon.
Gorgeous. Let me go. Maeven probably would want to go see if there was like a class or some training she could get herself into. Oh, she's here.
Yeah. So after about, we'll say, you guys are spending the night before making the summit trip. So about this time, yeah, it's about like 3, where you guys kind of separate and dart off in different directions. Baranor looks like he's circling the tree, and Luna sniffing. They look like they're orbiting the bottom of that cherry blossom tree on that fighting circle, and just kind of walking around and enjoying the view and smelling the air and smelling the roots. You have leave to do what you wish. If you wish to go into the library and descend again, Iona, you as well, if you wanted to return to that. It looks like you guys have got a few hours to yourselves.
Yeah,
we can go through that. Okay, yeah, we can have some library time, some proper library time.
Okay, just beforehand though, I want to check to make sure I'm not too messy from the travel. So I'm pulling out a mirror from my pack, just kind of looking at myself, and I'm kind of turning to kind of check, see the light and such, and that's my mirror of true sight as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And so
where are you?
I'm looking for someone in particular.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you find this specific person standing close to you guys, just as all these other attendants are. Mm-hmm. You get the feeling that he's, just kind of keeping an eye on things. It looks like he's playing the part quite well, and you're not exactly sure if you want to blow them in or not. And I'm going to say your passive insight gives you a harmless feeling about his intentions.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put that away.
And I'm going to say that you definitely, with your passive perception, you can catch him looking at him. Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of give a little bit of a knowing wink.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Maeven, what did you say you were doing? You're going to try some training, right?
Yeah, just try to see if she can find some kind of class or training that's going on that she could drop in on. I don't know.
So there are, like I said, the 4 dojo squares within the temple, building itself. Looks like 2 of them are occupied. There are a couple of one of them has like a 3-on-3 sort of training regimen, being overseen by what looks like sort of a lower master, maybe a master first class. This was sort of right around where you were going to sort of graduate to, was this level, by the way. before you. Not that you couldn't now, but you've been away for a while and away from like ceremony and things like keeping records of what you've done and stuff like that and graduating to that level. But that's right around where you were at. And you see in the other occupied square, you see what look like two very young initiates, and they're dressed in all white robes. They're very tight to the skin except for the legs. They fan out, and everyone fights barefoot, of course. And they are being overseen by a very wise old monk you've known before. Very innocuous, more knowledgeable on the religious aspects of Pelor and how to be solemn and stoic in his name than any kind of technique or practical application of the martial arts. So it's kind of weird to see him. You know he's kind of a hunched over old sort of half elf. He's got a very short, just a chin beard right that kind of scruffs from below his lips, and he's not completely bald, but he's got like a real far back receding white hairline, and he kind of leans on a stick. He wears mostly kind of faded yellow robes with like the stamp of Pelor on his back, and it's got a long hood and long sleeves, and he's just kind of pointing his stick at these two children and giving them pointers, and he doesn't notice you. He's across the hall, and that's when you step onto the mat and one of the empty ones, and you almost feel yourself wanting to sort of wave to the old man. His name was Kreb. You knew him as Brother Kreb, and he was very friendly. Like I said, harmless. And you feel yourself wanting to kind of wave to him before you hear a stomp behind you.
She'll wave anyway, but turn around afterwards.
And you see someone there that you sort of half expected to make a second appearance at this point. Akiva, this towering Goliath female. With the just absolute bulging arm muscles, just sort of steps onto the circle, and give me a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw. That'll be 15.
15.
Excuse me.
Just her presence alone, you're on guard. She's never been a physical, real, deathly threat to you, because obviously that would be horrendously evil, and she is a devout follower of Pelorian teaching. She's also the kind that'll smack a bitch if she gets pissed, and there's lots you can do to the mortal body that don't involve death. And exactly, and you have been on the receiving end of Akiva's fury, and you've been quick and able to dodge a lot, but she's very fast too, and she's incredibly strong. She's broken one or two of your bones. You've broken one or two of hers, and she just kind of stands at the edge of the square that you are sort of halfway in the middle of, and crosses her huge arms. You guys can hear her arms cross like stretching leather, and she just kind of grunts in your direction. So, heading up to the mountain to see the master, are ya?
Yes.
Ooh, big important Maeven gets audience with the master after not being here for what? 6 months? A year? How long has it been, girl?
Longer for me than it has been for you.
Yeah, she's gonna make a little roll of her own. Ooh, she did not take that well. You see her mouth curl and her nostrils flare. She takes 3 short, quick steps towards you, unfolds her arms, and her just sheer scale. She's double your height. It's never really been that intimidating to you, but somebody this big rushing you is enough to kind of get the hackles on the very, very, very back of your neck on edge. You know you're faster than she is. But yeah, she takes 3 steps towards you. You're about 6 feet away. And she says, "My duties at the gate are an honor, not bestowed to just anybody. But that in the temple is its own reward. Something you might know about if you check in every other year, that is."
Shocking. Really. I know how... My brain isn't working yet. I know how good you are at your job. Know that you really enjoy it. How seriously you take it. That's not news to me. Are you looking for a fight? Is that what you want?
Who, by the way, you are, I'm guessing you're walking with your gear, right?
Yeah, I got my backpack on. Excuse me.
Yeah, as well as your burn stick. And you just see her eyes are these black pools of darkness sunken into what she wipes on her face is like a stripe of oil across her brow covering her eyes, and her eyes themselves dark but with bright blue irises and black pupils, so it's kind of swimming in a sea of ink. These eyes dart over and see this red sort of starting to, I'm not going to say the fire stick skull is falling apart, but it's been on there a while, and like you've since lost the lower jaw. Mm-hmm. Poor Sticky's jaw fell off, but the rest of the bone matter is pretty hardy. It's almost stone-like, and you've lost a couple of teeth in this thing, mm-hmm. and trying to maybe repair it. Some of them are crooked. And as you hold Fire Stick in your hand and Akiva just sort of towers over you, you can sense her look at it, and you look at it, and the fire, or the skull catches fire and starts to burn of its own volition. This isn't an effect you initiated.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to pretend like it is, though. I'm just going to roll with it.
While in the back of your mind, you're going, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is not normal.
So, Akiva is going to kind of take another step forward and say, "Is that what you want to go? You come here to train, to fight, or both? We can go over the scripts. We can catch you up on the religious texts. Or we can do what it looks like your weapon want to do." And she's going to take a punch at you. I'm going to need a dex saving throw from you.
Ready, saving throw. Do. Where is it? There it is. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I rolled a 19 for 30.
Uh-huh. So a 30 is what you would have needed, by the way.
Okay.
So she's going to throw a punch. You have the option to you react in any way that you see fit. You're in the middle of this square. She's maybe 3-4 feet from you. You can either dodge, or I'll give you an unarmed attack.
I want to take it more... I would like to take an unarmed attack, but I want to make it nothing that does damage. I would like it to be more something that would annoy her. Like, she's too tall for me to hit the back of her head, but like that kind of...
Smack
feeling.
back of her ass.
Yeah. And
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
and move around behind her.
All right. So with a dexterous, she goes to make a throw, and you know what? It was really close. You felt she wears these hand wraps that you know that Sheik has since dipped in. She's made a fist and then dipped them in this like harsh resin with sort of like bark chunks buried in it and let it harden, and that's how she fights and that's how she trains. And occasionally she'll just make new hand wraps, dip them in that resin, and dip them in other stuff. They're kind of disposable. In that regard, you know that when they connect, they fucking hurt. So she takes a swat at you, and you saw it coming, and you know what? You catch sight as you duck out of the way. The corner of her mouth kind of curls up as she was kind of hoping you'd see that coming, because she's going to dart around as you kind of switch and jump on the balls of your feet, try to dive around her. She's going to raise her knee like she was expecting it. And that's going to be a 28 to hit you.
Yeah, that'll hit.
All right. Let me just get my dice out. Yeah, she hits you for 7. It feels like she was pulling her punch. Or pulling her knee, so to speak. So you kind of dive around her, and as you do, she kind of rounds her knee up in the air just a little bit. It doesn't take her much to hit you in the chin, but she does, and it kind of knocks your head back, and you get around to her side, and you taste a little blood in your mouth. I'm going to give you your turn, though. It looks like she's getting ready to spin around and face you.
Okay. Maeven is just going to sigh wearily and look at her. Is this really what you want? Is this hitting me, hurting me? Is this going to prove your point? And she's just going to take the dodge action.
Okay. She's going to spin around and say, "You look weary, elf girl. I thought you came here to work something out. You got to talk to the master. You got to clear your head. Isn't that why you're here? Not like I got much to prove. My time here is well spent. No idea what you get up to in the wilds. Make a name for yourself here." And she kind of walks up and flicks the edge of your robe where you've got, your knight's badge is actually, you've wrapped a sash kind of over it a little bit. And she kind of flicks it into view and says, "Getting all kinds of accolades out there in your times." And she kind of like, there's something about what she just said, just kind of irks you a little bit. Almost like you almost get an insight that she's feeling like she's purer in the Palor way than you are. And she's going to take a step back, and she's going to take the dodge action.
Jealousy doesn't look good on you, Akiva. I've been through the hells, literally and figuratively, to get to where I am today. I don't need to prove anything to you, ever. And then she'll just continue to take the dodge action. She's not going to start anything.
Okay. I'm going to need a perception check from you since you're acting so little. You have time to kind of get a bead on your surroundings. And as you're doing that, Kravish, I'm guessing, Kravish, you are nearby?
Oh,
or are you at the library?
Well, I'm kind of torn after seeing going on here. I'm kind of watching. I'm seeing what plays out here.
Okay. What'd you get for a perception check, Maeven?
17.
Okay. So you're focused pretty heavily on Akiva. She is definitely reading every twitch of your musculature, any hint of body language, any motion like you're going to step into a stance. It looks like she's scanning you, which is forcing you to kind of keep your stoicism really in gear, which has kind of like hindered your situational awareness. So it's not until you get the sense that Tosh is now standing directly next to Kravish that you realize that she's even in the room. And Kravish, as you're just sort of watching Maeven sort of have this mental drama with Akiva in the middle of this square, this very elegant but subtle vanilla flowery perfume just sort of permeates, and you notice that someone is standing next to you. You look over, it's the long brunetted Tosh, and she's just kind of leaning on her quarterstaff, her feet kind of crossed in front of her, and she just leans over and says, "I got 12 gold on Maeven throwing the first punch, doll."
Oh, nah, I'll take that bet, but I'm betting on the other one.
She just kind of, she gives you a long look. Her gaze kind of like, she's kind of facing Maeven and Akiva on her staff, but as she engages with you, she kind of looks over and then kind of turns her whole body towards you and just kind of looks up at you and says, "Well, aren't you just a tall drink of water?" And she's going to take a couple of platinum and just sort of place them on what looks like a nearby fence post and lean onto her quarterstaff once more.
I'll take the same amount and I'll put it on the post with it.
So, Iona, you know, what are the two of you doing while this is all happening? Had you joined the group in their walk to the temple? Are you going back to the library? What is it you guys would wish to do? Let's start with Yuno.
Yuno's gonna hang out in the library.
Okay.
Not necessarily to learn, more spells, but just to see what else they kind of have going there, especially any kind of ancient histories, lost cities, that sort of stuff. That's kind of his job.
Okay. Are you looking for a specific subject matter, or are you just kind of perusing through the table of contents, so to speak, and seeing what kind of jumps out?
Perusing, seeing what's kind of here and out there, making a note of, stuff I might want to reread, come back to.
Okay. All right. Well, get ready to write this down, because I'll give you a short list of things you read about. So go ahead and give me a D20 roll and add your intelligence modifier and your proficiency. And Iona, same question to you.
Iona is, I think, Maeve stayed for the first bit of the Maeven fight, but as soon as she sees that Maeven's not really rising to anything, she's no longer really concerned. She thinks Maeven's got it, even if Maeven gets knocked around, she's not getting emotionally compromised by this, so she's alright with that. So then she's going to go to the library also, and she is going to be, just because of the whole political situation has got her thinking about things back in the capital, and also because she's shaken by various events. She is going to that Elven history section of the library, and she is going to read about war, when elves went to war.
Okay. All right. So I will need a separate investigation. This can be at advantage. You already got a 15 on your first perusing of this section. However, this place is going to direct you to a separate wing of the library. It's one floor down. It's not the last floor on the staircase, but it's pretty far down there.
Oh,
Yeah.
for 23.
Nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, and I'll take a history from you as well. All right. They're both very, very good rolls. 23 and a 27 on investigation and history. You find that you walk into a very dark corner of this basement library section. It's equally well kept. You actually see two what look like maybe gnomes or a halfling and a gnome monks that look like they're carrying a broom and kind of a little sack out of this area. They're kind of sweeping as they go, but it's not very well lit here. There are wall sconces. They're not currently lit, and you find yourself sort of on your own, alone back here. You are kind of perusing in a general way, so you catch quite a few legends of note that you find. Some of them are really, really old. Those legends always carry with it a caveat of risk that while it's very, very old, that means it might be kind of a powerful artifact. But if something's around long enough, it's higher chances that it's been picked through and not recorded in this book. And maybe you get there and it's not there anymore. So you do find a number of old stories and a couple of new ones. You also read about, just to kind of keep your nose on target a little bit, you're reading about very old, maybe cults and organizations and anything that might relate to that might be able to point you in the direction of this entity. And unfortunately, you don't really find anything. The only thing you find that's weird that you decide to sort of commit to memory is that of what's called the Wandering Cult. It's a very, very ancient concept, and it basically is a roving population that aren't necessarily connected by anything other than their desire to find something to believe in. They've lost their cause. They've lost their purpose, and they move from cause to cause. It's not something that's an army versus an army kind of scale, but it's just it's the only instance of other than the cult of the dragon and a cult of hell and things like that, the very common concepts you've got. This is a new one to you. This is something new that you've learned. You also learn about there is a kind of an ancient legend of something called the Iceman's Pike. This is going to be way up in the Grey Waste by the Frigid Maw, way up north, further north than you've ever been. And it is supposedly a sunken treasure at the bottom of the Frigid Maw Bay. And this was an object that was bestowed by a god to a wayward sailor, and it ended up being lost to history. There is okay, we've got the Tusk of Erdasi, and the Tusk of Erdasi is in reference to an orc king, and this is going to be far to the east, past the Tusk Peaks, further east than you've ever been. And into the Blighted Shores, there is a legendary burial resting place where a magic shaman orc king was entombed. And there's a number of little cave dwelling adventures that you find that you're like, nah, not quite. Not quite good enough for my attention. All right. Maven, you can feel the air kind of ripple under the vibrations of Akiva's muscles as she paces in front of you like a junkyard dog. Each footfall a stomp, and that's saying something as these kind of tammy mat training squares are pretty muffled in their footsteps. You know that you're silent walking around them yourself. She just kind of stomps, looking at you as she paces left to right. She says, "If not for grudges, why not for training? What you come here for then? Don't you want to see what it is you need to see? Why not see it with me, girl? What's the matter? You afraid you're gonna get pummeled by Akiva?"
Oh.
And you kind of feel okay, at this moment the edges of your ears get a little hot. And that's when you look and you see that the two younger students, as well as the elder master that you've known, they're all looking at you. They've stopped doing what they're doing. The 3-on-3, half of them have stopped and are watching this, and one of them isn't paying attention, and his sparring partner decks him right in the head. And you've also attracted the attention of 3 very small Firbolg children. These children are wrapped in pure white robes. It looks like they're also initiates. And you've seen a few Firbolgs. Koza is kind of like a large bear/cow kind of huge guy. He's like a mammoth, this guy. These Firbolgs are very small. They have tiny little pointed horns, and they have the resemblance of like little goat people.
Oh my god.
And they're also watching you. And you notice that people are kind of, it looks like there are people that are walking through the hall that are sort of on their own business, but they're noticing that there's kind of a crowd gathering, and they're stopping to look at what everyone's looking at. We're not talking about like a mall concert crowd gathering, but there's about a dozen people kind of stopping what they're doing and checking this out. And Kravish Tosh is going to kind of slink away behind you and reappear on your left side, and you see her reach into her front robes by her lower shoulder and just kind of pull out another platinum, and she's going to place it on top of the pile and go, "Looks like my chances just doubled."
Okay. I'll place another platinum there. And I'm just going to just very subtly just kind of send a message over that way through the earrings. Just peace. Don't give her the satisfaction.
Maeven, make an insight check.
Insight check. Pretty good at those. Let's see. We do 15. I'm rolling
15.
really poorly today.
Yeah. You heard what he said, and you're pretty much kind of worried that he is really, really worried that you're going to get your ass kicked. He is like deathly afraid that something horrible is going to happen to you.
I'm already like half hit points earlier. Okay. Just going to smile as she kind of whispers, "No worries." And she's going to look directly at Akiva again. Deep breath. I'm not 20 years old anymore, Akiva. Voting me into a fight doesn't work.
Okay.
Seems like you haven't aged at all. Where's the maturity?
And as you
As she
you
says
said,
that, I lean over to Tosh and go, "That was good."
Akiva's gonna kind of sneer as she leans down, and she almost has to fold in half to come eye to eye with you as her skin stretches over her crossed arms. Her veins bulge. You can now smell her much better. She's always had a musk about her, and definitely seems like maybe she's at the ass end of her watch. Maybe she needs a shower. And she just kind of gets right in your personal space and just kind of looks at the edges of your eyes, and you feel all of a sudden vaguely self-conscious about those little sort of startings of crow's feet that you didn't notice a year ago. And she also kind of notices kind of the lines drawing down your cheeks, and she says, "Looks like you aged enough for both of us." And she kind of stretches and straightens back out.
I look over to Tosh and go, "No bet, I'd slap the bitch for that."
Being pretty was never my strong suit. At least one of us realizes that. And she'll wink at her.
Make an intimidation check.
Okay. I mean, 15. That's not bad.
No.
That's not
shit.
bad for me, okay?
Not bad.
I have a +1 to intimidation, okay?
Yeah.
Charisma's not your strong suit.
No.
So, at your kind of response of a little self-deprecation, you notice that Akiva kind of absorbs that and takes it as sort of, she's cut a little by it, as in, maybe she feels maybe she went a little too far. I'd say that she's starting to see how much of a bully she is right now. And she just kind of looks around and notices that everybody's kind of looking, and she I'm going to say that you clock off of her. She knows she's not going to goad you into a fight. And she just kind of drops her arms a little and kind of rests them on her hips. And she just kind of looks at you and looks down at her feet a little, and she goes, "It's good to see you again, girl."
She'll nod, smile, and say, "It's good to see you too, Akiva." And she'll turn around.
She's going to kind of... Go ahead.
She'll just walk back towards Pravish and Dash.
Yeah, she's you're gonna leave her with that kind of look on her face of damn. And Tosh is just sort of, at this point, just sort of really got her hand on her hip and it balled up in a fist, leaning on her quarterstaff, and she just kind of looks at Kravish and goes, "Well, shit," and just sort of takes her her 5 platinum away from the pile and stuffs them in a pouch, and she's just like,
Put mine back in my pocket too.
Yeah. And as you approach Maeven, Tosh just kind of goes, "Well, damn, Maeven, leave it to you to deprive a girl of a few coin." And
I don't
and she just
thanks for money.
and she goes, "I don't know what you're waiting on. You could have taken her." And she's going to kind of shove your shoulder a little with her knuckles, and you feel a little bit of like, "Damn, I kind of wanted to see you throw down, girl," kind of in her shove.
Yeah, I know. She's not worth the effort these days. Literally. And she'll make sure she got all the blood out of her mouth and be like, "It's really not that important to try to prove myself to somebody that will never see me as their equal."
You too. What's the beef with you two anyway?
It's a very simple story.
Cool.
she always wanted to be the bully, the biggest, the baddest, the best at everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if I ever did anything that could be contrived as something better than her, we were in the same little group coming up, and she didn't like it. She's the most devout Valorian I've ever met in my life. So when she used to be able to goad me into anything all the time, constantly. I was a little bit more hot-headed than I am now.
Well, that's good for the rest of us.
Generally speaking. Yeah, she just really, really wanted to be the best and to prove that she was the most devout and to prove that she did everything best. Over and over and over, and sometimes she was, and when she wasn't, she was very mean about it.
Okay, typical middle child syndrome.
Would you know anything about that? Yeah.
Yeah, if how my brother acted was any indication, yeah. Okay, so now that that's over, I want to go check out that library.
Come on, I'll
You
show
cool
you.
right now?
Oh yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool. See you later. See you at supper.
Yep.
All right, give her a quick peck on the forehead and head on out.
She's just like heart eyes staring at him. It hasn't changed since the first time. Just like stupid in love heart eyes.
Mm-hmm. Kind of hate to see you go, love to watch you leave, sort of thing.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he doesn't look bad on his way out. His silver winged cape sashaying behind him as he takes off with his black and orange feathered hat.
To look at Tash and be like, isn't he gorgeous? Jesus.
She just kind of looks. You see her just kind of watching him leave, and Tash gives him a real long up and down and says, "Huh? So he's the one, huh?"
Oh yeah. What can I say?
And
Like him tall and brooding.
I know, girl. And you know that she's she knows the type of people that have been in your life that have come in and out of it while you guys were both here, and she's just kind of like walk with you as you kind of follow the path that he was going as it's sort of on the way out, and she just kind of stops you as you sort of look around the dojo and catch sight of, like, there's hanging tenets on the wall written in old ancient script, and she just kind of looks at you and just says, so you got yourself into some high spot of trouble, don't you?
You know me, can't help myself.
And she's going to instinctively step into third pose. She's going to raise her quarterstaff, and she's not even being aggressive. It's almost like she drops into, just like you guys have done this for hours at a time, where you'll just chit chat while you throw each other punches and kind of like catch each other's block and things like that. So she's going to throw a quarterstaff swipe at you. She's only going to get a natural 8, which is an 18.
It does not hit.
Okay, so and as she kind of throws it, you kind of drop right into that role of reacting to a strike, and you kind of like you take a step back, you grab you snap your head backwards where you know the end of her, and she's got a new quarterstaff. It's really nice, by the way. It's like white oak
Pretty.
with these deep brown leather wraps on the ends and for the handle, and it's got these brass caps on each end that look like they're kind of like studded into place. Really, really, really nice. Looks expensive. And you are able to clock the new shape and length of it just in time, where when she swings that thing at you, you know it's gonna land right in front of your nose, and you kind of catch it with your open palms. So, how long you two been a thing?
Oh, Tash.
Don't play coy with me, girl.
Do I have a story for you? And then she's going to just burst into just like telling her best friend exactly what happened.
All right, make an attack too.
I'm just gonna go. She'll toss off her backpack and put her quarterstaff down and just go straight in with unarmed.
Okay.
21 to hit.
21 to hit. She's going to react to that and reduce that attack by 3. As you kind of throw a jab at her, she also kind of steps just under it and catches your wrist with the edge of her quarterstaff. And the two of you just kind of go blow for blow, and you find yourself kind of muscle memorying your way through a particular kata that the two of you kind of sync up on. Like you get the feeling like, oh, she's trying to do, shadow wind, and so you kind of respond in the way that you can feel that you guys are getting a workout. While also, kind of, having some semblance of discipline, and you can feel your muscles burning as the two of you break a sweat. She tells you about her travels and how she was up north for a while. She was here when you left, but she left about a year ago, and she kind of, you didn't know where she was stationed, as she was here when you were given your assignment. And she tells you that she went all the way up to Darrow, and that she braved the mountains and went further north than you have ever heard of. She went to the Scalewind Whaling Village, which is pretty far north, and also if you want to go to the map, I'll open some of this up. Okay, let me just do this. Since you guys are looking at the map a lot, I'll just give it to you. How she went north of the monastery, didn't much care for Morrowsport, and a lot of slimy dudes there. But let's give you guys move a little. The two of you, you discuss what you've been up to and how she, was at the far north. She crossed through Tolfer's Pass and made her way all the way up to Frosthammer and Bleeth before she was called back home about 2 weeks ago.
Really?
And she tells you that something is, bringing the monks together. There's a lot of talk of some kind of something going on with magic. Some people are finding that their powers are dwindling, and that you would know that magic holds very little interest for Tash, and that she doesn't really understand a whole lot about what's going on. But she gets to a point where she kind of struggles, and because you've always been a little faster than Tash, she's starting to struggle against, getting this one move off the ground. So I need you to make an acrobatics check as she's trying to do this complicated spin flip, and you know where you need to grab her feet to twist it, so she'll do it. But she's kind of, you guys kind of struggle a couple of times where she misses.
24.
Yeah, easily. You kind of are able to kind of put your foot in the right spot to assist her. She tries it one more time, and as you grab her feet, twist her into like a spiral. She lands 3-point landing on the ground, catches her quarterstaff, and brings it right up to your face. You stand still, and it stops short about a millimeter, where you can feel this like miniature shockwave across your skin, and she's breathing heavy. So, tell me, what do you think it is, this magic eater?
I wish I knew. It's been really awful. Let me tell you about the time I went to jail because people were looking for these magic portal things. And she'll go into the whole thing
saga.
Yep, that's what I'm looking for. And yeah, just go into what happened in Cobb and everything, and it's just like, it's been so crazy. It's everywhere. You know that I don't have any idea of where it's coming from. Magic, me and you are on the same page. Don't really get most of it. But it tore Thesia out of the sky, one of these magic eating. How does that even happen?
And she just kind of looks at you and just says, yeah, that's that, what is that floating city up there in the Frosted Bluffs, right?
Yeah.
She just kind of looks back quickly in the direction of where Kervish went, and she just kind of looks and says, you know, I read about that place. A lot of Silver Dragonborn there. It wasn't one of his places, was it?
His home.
And her jaw just drops, and which allows you, while you throw a punch, to kind of catch her off guard, and you just like catch her in the chin just enough, and you recognize that, oh, she doesn't see it coming, and so you pull your punch. It's enough to kind of knock her jaw a little, and she just kind of like
clank her teeth together.
And she's like, oh, it is? That's terrible.
Yeah.
And she just kind of like stands up straight and just kind of puts her elbow on your shoulder a little, and she's a little out of breath. Looks like she's done for a bit, and she just kind of stares back in Kervish's direction, and she's like, wow, to lose your whole city in one fell swoop. It was really this thing that did that?
That's what they're thinking. Magic, you can't even send a message into where it is. You can't even pry into it anymore. It's completely devastated. It's so much. And
she kind of as you talk about this and explain this effect it's had, she kind of, you notice her gaze kind of sinks, and her whole body just sort of sinks in a little, and she goes, a zone of anti-magic, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you know that look. She has that look often, and it's always accompanied with like, oh shit, like that. Mm-hmm. I know that too.
When did you experience it?
And she just kind of takes a short sigh and says, well, way up north in Frosthammer, a few weeks before I got recalled here, there was some legend, or not legend, but some campfire ghost story about, this magical cave, way up in the mountains on the edge of the continent up there, and how it's always had this legendary magical influence where spells were stronger there, and the North folk would do their rituals up there. Well, we were hearing reports that it was cursed. It was a place of stagnation, and that the gods had forsaken their sacred cave, and I really never gave it much thought, but sounds awful similar to what's going on at Thesia.
It does. This is what we're going to be talking to the master about. Do you want me to relay it, or do you want to come?
She just kind of makes, almost like she drops her eyes a little as she's thinking about what you're talking about, and she just says, I already reported it to Shard.
Okay.
So, and she just kind of looks around at the radiance of the temple, and you know there are various magical effects and artifacts strewn about this place. You know, there's an ever burning cauldron of fire at the top of the audience chamber where that huge statue of Pelor sits, and with that coiled snake around it. And you know that's a magical fire. It's not like somebody climbs up there every day and loads wood into it. It's extraordinarily bright and warm and ever burning. And even it seems slightly diminished. You remember it being brighter. And Tash just kind of looks around saying, I don't understand how this is possible. It is everywhere.
What time is it? Is it time to go eat yet?
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
We'll deal with dinner in a bit. Iona, you find yourself enraptured in a book, a very tall tome, the kind that deserves its own pedestal to read. It is of a deep black leather bound with kind of a brassy gold trim and a heavy kind of like lock that you can kind of push aside and unclick the side of the binding. It opens with a yawn and a creak as it's quite a large book and thick too. The pages themselves feel like they're made of a thinly shaven bark, and the ink has that old book smell with sort of that metallic coppery undertone to the scriptures in here. You read just on surface skimming a dozen of elven wars. Most of them are with other races. Some of them are amongst each other. And the earliest, I'll just say that the earliest war that you skim through is what was called the Saldanian Independent War. And that was basically kind of skims through the origin of elves in Valandiir and how they originated in the realm of Soldanus. And there's not a whole lot detailed because this book was not written by elves. It was written by people that are observing history. And so all it says is the Eldarian emerged from the crystal. You read about a lot of wars. One of them gives a quick rundown on the beginning of the elves and that they originated in the realm of Soldanus. It doesn't say a lot about it doesn't mention in detail about the origins, only that the Eldarian emerged from the crystal. It doesn't really elaborate too much about that, which is you feel is kind of a shame. But this is a book about war, and this is about when they were known then as the Eldarian. Kind of began their residence of Soldanus. There were already people there, and they were forest folk. It was mostly halflings and humans and Firbolg that dominated the forest, and eventually they clashed. and the elves of Soldanus, they established their own nation, and eventually they didn't drive all the other races out, but they eventually took over the whole of that continent. And that was a war that you read about. You also read recently that there was, as early as about 100 years ago, kind of during the centennial anniversary of the Zephan Empire's existence, that they clashed with the realm of Soldanus in a skirmish just at the Ruby Delta, which is a kind of a landmass that separates the Empire and the realm of Soldanus right in half. And a battle that ended in this deep, dark pool in the mountains of the Sawback Range, this huge lake that there's an island in the middle of, and the whole battle kind of culminated on that island, and there are rumored, lost souls that kind of haunt that battlefield. So those are the beginning and the end of the range of Elven Wars. So I'll ask you if there's anything in particular that you're looking for, and we'll see if you can find something.
I mean, I guess just because of sort of who I am, I'm looking almost for where elves clashed with the drow, just because that is, I have a feeling that's probably happened a few times in history, and also because I know that my mother was half drow and half, I think a forest elf, but I've never heard much, and I don't know enough about her to ever even think about where she did come from, but I still have this sort of, I wonder. Yeah.
Your history roll and your investigation were stellar, so you do get quite a bit. There were a number of Eastern noble houses that were rivaling against what was considered a dying remnant of an old ruling class in the Far East. You're pretty sure that it was the kind of the organized, and it was a cabal of noble outlaws that had acquired enough wealth to sort of divide themselves into sort of a quasi, constitutional, parliament, you could say, and they emigrated from the Far East. But this was 1,000 years ago, maybe more. And you do know that your father, I believe it was your father that came from nobility, right?
Yeah, just barely nobility, but just barely.
You do read that houses rose and fell, by the decade, and that, your family is not mentioned in any of the books that you find, but you're pretty certain that's common for a lot of the lesser houses. But you do read about some of the more prestigious elven houses of the East, and just, as you've been reading about the way the elves have moved out of Soldanus, that all elves of this continent come originally from Soldanus. However, some point in maybe the early second age or first age or something, they began to emigrate and, mate with other races, humans, halflings, things like that, which, that developed your variant races of elves, like your wood elves, your high elves, things like that, dark red hair, and the like. And so you're pretty sure that your mother was kind of unknown, and not exactly clear who her people were. But your father and his ilk are definitely in the annals of these historical artifact kind of books.
Okay.
You also, in your reading, come across a name, which you find very interesting.
Okay.
You come across the name Eladrin. And this name spikes your memory and reminds you instantly that, oh, I've heard that name before. I've heard that name in relation to the Walking Rot. I think once or twice, maybe the most, you heard through, Maeven did know quite a bit about the Walking Rot. She relayed a lot of information. The name Gizrak came to mind. He's the Orcish shaman, one of the heads of the Walking Rot, and the other one being an elven lich named Eladrin. Eladrin. But that is not in the way that you are reading about her. In this text, she's a priestess of Corellon. And it talks about her downfall. That she was a very powerful, devout worshipper of Corellon, the elven magical goddess, or god, deity. And that she fell in love with a entity that she didn't quite understand. And she was cast out of her coven. And she became extraordinarily spurned by it, to the point that her lover became sort of ensickened by her and abandoned her, which drove her into a rage. And then she just disappeared. She's not written about again.
Okay, that is interesting. So I'm definitely absorbing all of that.
Yeah. You also read, I'll say this is the last thing you kind of absorb. You rolled very, very well. You also kind of got a preliminary history of Deadmarsh, which is not something you've read before, and you're from Deadmarsh. It is a nation-sized swampland. It is not that you really know too much about the Calded Styx, where the Crown Collectors encountered the Black Dragon Shekis. That was a pretty big swamp. This dwarfs the Calded Styx. This place is immense. It's almost as big as the entire whole of the Garden of Mist forest. It's huge. And you read that it is an unfortunate, it's like Chernobyl. It is a death ground that is, by the time you and your people settled there, was starting to recover, but it was the site of a
You cut out again just when you're starting to talk about Deadmarsh.
Oh, okay. No, I gotcha.
We got through a nation-sized swamp and then it was gone.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Where it's it's the remnant of a natural disaster, Deadmarsh. It's a lot like an irradiated wasteland that is just now starting to recover as your folks settled there years and years and years ago. It's the site of some kind of ecological breakdown of the ecosystem. It's not like a lightning strike or a meteor strike or anything like that. It's just like something happened that blighted the land, and it never fully recovered.
Yeah, and I'm thinking back on my childhood and what the plants and animals looked like, and thinking, yeah, that tracks. And yeah, Deadmarsh is a place where no wonder the Talon Path set up there. It's so poisonous, and there's so much sickness. And it has maybe been slowly recovering, but then I'm thinking back, to certain assignments that I and others were given within the temple and wondering if the recovery was maybe being slowed down or prevented in certain ways by certain agents of the talent of whom the sickness of Dead Marsh was considered too important to lose to the recovery of time.
Yeah. Not a real happy place for a long time. But yeah, there's a shiver up your spine as you kind of read. You're reading something about your homeland that you didn't know before, and it just feels. I don't know. You suddenly feel kind of weirdly exposed that even you didn't know this about your home.
Yeah, and it's in reading about where how I know where my father's family lived roughly, but I've never seen it, and now I know more about how they settled there. But it's a weird thing of it's technically an ancestral land, which I've never seen, and I don't know yet if I want to see it. So I'm absorbing all of it, and I'm thinking about. I have a lot to think about.
Yeah. Noah has returned. He'll be on shortly. Yeah, the annals of history open before you and don't offer you the answers you seek. Unfortunately, it's all of it is too old and too obscured by what people wrote down back in the day. I'll just say that prior to Dead Marsh, the recorded history of Dead Marsh is that prior to its, catastrophic decay into a swamp, there was once a flourishing nation. You're not sure what it was called? It was just that it's referred to as the Mirrored City. And there's not a lot of information about it in this book, just that it ended and Dead Marsh happened.
Yeah.
Kervish, you're also in the library.
Yes, I am.
Yes. Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
I have made a list.
Okay, let's go through it.
All right. Let's see. I'd like to look in the map area to see some maps of Firaxis and the Morov Islands in general, since that's where we're going.
All right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Let's see. Wondering if they have any information on Planewalkers Diadect. See if there's any information about those folks.
Okay.
Any information on the Blind One.
Mm-hmm.
And see if there's any reference to ancient mythology, religion. See if I can find the symbol from the, I believe it's the Blind One symbol, to see if there's any recognition of it here.
Okay. So I'm going to need also from you a healthy investigation, which you can make an advantage because you've already rolled quite well in this space. So the investigation can be an advantage, and give me a history check.
Okay, hold on. And I am going to put on my special little handy goggles.
Okay. Those are only give you an advantage in investigation in regards to tracking.
I see. So not a general investigation?
No. Okay. I mean, they look really cool.
Okay, cool. So only for tracking. Alrighty then.
You put them on and you just see fingerprints all over the books and you're like,
all
ew.
over the books. Alright, so you wanted my investigation check. $22.
Okay. And let's have history.
Okay, and that's a straight roll?
Yeah. Yep.
19.
Not bad. All right, as far as a map, you do find a map. They have an extensive collection of maps. They're all kind of rolled up in this, like, I don't know what you call those scroll shelves, but where they're kind of like in a cross.
Yeah.
Yeah. You find an elaborate collection of maps of all kinds of interesting places that you wish you could copy them right now. But, y'all say that you find one with a 22 investigation, you find one, and this is just something that you're like, that's interesting, and you stare at it for like 3 straight seconds to try to commit it to memory, because it is a way through to safely navigate what is being called Grimtide Reef.
Mm-hmm. Safe passage to Grimtide Reef.
Yeah.
Okay.
You also find a map of the island of
map of the island.
The map of the Morab Islands. There's not a whole lot of detail about the surrounding islands. It seems like the only area of interest is the main island, which it doesn't have a name. But it is where Baraxos is. It looks like just to the west of Baraxos is a huge lagoon, and there are markings all over the place of things that look like danger.
Mm-hmm. Large lagoon west of Baraxos.
Yeah.
Dang.
And it looks like that the far western edge of that island, it has an annotation of like not really an arrow, but kind of like a mention of note, and that section is scratched out where you can't read what was written about it. And that scratch out looks old, very, very, very old. In fact, since you're wearing your handy goggles, you can see there are a lot of fingerprints on that scratch, and it looks like many people have sort of rubbed their finger on it, maybe kind of thought, to themselves.
Try to rub it out unsuccessfully. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say that, I'll give you any map you want. I'll say roll a D4.
Roll a D4. Okay.
Yeah. 1. I'll give you one more detailed map of really anywhere else you want on the entire continent. Throw a dart.
Yeah, throw a dart on the map.
And I'll come up with an image with little notes and annotations and things like that, and you can consider yourself an expert in the geo and political aspect of whatever map that is.
Give me something. I don't see any ley lines anywhere else right now. Well, give me something around the Blighted Shores.
The Blighted Shores. You get a map that is characteristically burnt on the edges. There is a hole burned right through the bottom right portion of it. It looks like it kind of obscures what the shoreline looks like. And there is a kind of a golf ball size little note detailing Cragmire as a human/dwarven/halfling settlement. There's a humongous wall around Cragmire, except for the western side of the town, as it butts up against the the forest separating that area and Deadmarsh. But there's a huge steel wall that sort of travels from the Tusk Peaks all the way around 3/4 around Cragmire and kind of protects it from the Blighted Shores. You see that the Bay of Fathoms, there are several little sketches of sea creatures. Some look ferocious. Others look rather innocuous, like there's a big fish and there's a bird, but there's also like a squid and a shark. There are several little X's marked off all along the tusk peaks with little like annotations, and your worldly.
That last sentence you cut out right after you talked about the animals at the Bay of Fathoms. You're like, you also see silence.
Yeah, you also see the tusk peaks have little X's annotated with little tiny lines connecting them, and you know this in your travels as kind of like shorthand for like underground tunnels. Ergnasil is given its own little blurb, and it is an orcish city. Actually, it's kind of like a, in what you've read in the past, you've read little snippets of Ergnasil here and there and here and there. It seems like it's like a big orc Mayan city.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, lots of ziggurats and sacrifices, and they worship dark gods.
Okay.
The volcano that trickles lava down into the land level.
Mm-hmm.
Is called Mount Ozai, Ozai, and it is thought to be the decapitated head of an orcish god that's just burping out its lava blood constantly.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. It's also rumored to be the home of a legendarily huge ancient red dragon.
Or a very nasty fire lord.
Speaking of Fire Lord, there is a tribe of fire giants that live in the southern regions of the Blighted Shores against the Tusk Peak Mountains.
Okay.
And that's kind of it on this map.
Okay.
There's also little tiny notes of little towns and villages. Most of it is up against the Tusk Peaks along that ridge of mountains. There are a couple of what look like encampments or outposts outlying in the middle of the landscape, but for the most part, the landscape, which, if we do a little comparison, it's almost like Ergnasil, the amount of land on it is equivalent to, the distance between Brackenshire and the Needle. There's about that much distance around it. Maybe double that because it's in like a U shape. But most of it's barren landscape. Not a whole lot not a whole lot of noteworthy landmarks to comment on.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. As far as you don't find a single mention of the Blind One.
Okay.
Not in any books that you find. No attendant can bring you any clarification more than what you've read. I think that you and Xander Fang got into this a little bit. Prince Hector got into it a little bit with you. You don't glean any new information. You do learn that there are ancient gods, proto-gods that were worshipped by very ancient mortal folk. Just after the cataclysm between the celestials and the demonics that split the heavens in two, and mortals were then burped into existence by these very prominent proto races. You learn that the ancient real primitive primordial gods, they all revere even more ancient entities, that none of which you catch by name except for that of Tsun itself, T'Suun, which is also the name of the world you live in. And that Tsun he is like, it's basically, the planet is the creational entity itself.
Like Gaia?
Kind of, yeah. And that there were several accompanying entities when existence was first conceived of, but none of them are named.
You cut out again after discussing Tsun.
Yeah, that there were other entities that accompanied Tsun, that sort of were all along during existence's creation. And none of them are named, but they were all, it's almost like Tsun had like different subroutines of existence that helped precipitate different facets of reality. And eventually they all just sort of were either dissipated out of reality, or they joined Tsun, or they left and became their own reality, and Tsun remained and grew life.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's pretty. Did I miss any subject matter?
Planewalker or diadact.
Okay, so you don't hear anything about the word diadact, but you do read, there's one book on legendary, like very unique people born throughout history, that, some people are considered like reality benders, that they can shape, reality to their will. Many of them are misconstrued stories about ancient arcane magic users, thinking that they were like a cosmic entity, when it turns out they were just kind of a huckster that knew a couple spells. You do read about people whose ancestors are difficult to trace because they draw traits from many different races, some of which are not from this plane of existence. So you do hear about people that blend in very well, that they go by different names. Some people are just good at blending in, others physically can do it, like Daunt. Daunt is able to change his appearance. But absorbing fundamental characteristics of a plane that they walk in, that's very rare. You don't really catch anything about it.
Okay.
And you wouldn't know this, but Maeven would, that the Empire is very stingy about sharing scientific findings and research and stuff like that, and that you get the feeling the monastery here has kind of traded history with like the whole world, and not a lot of that knowledge is shared between the Empire and them. You don't find a whole lot of info other than observational accounts on the Empire, the Zephan Empire. Mm-hmm. Definitely no inside the Empire written books.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of stuff like, the Empire is 250 years old and they're kind of assholes and stuff like that.
I got you. All right, cool.
Yeah. And by the time you close your last book in the emptying library, passes you by. He kind of gives your shoulder a little bump and a little nod of acknowledgement in the library. You see Iona packing up a couple of books and shoving them onto a shelf, and you can feel your stomach rumbling as the dinner hour approaches. And that is where we will take a little break, folks.
All right.
Rumbly in the tumbly. Let's have everybody reset your internet.
Everybody reset their internet.
Yeah, everybody reset your internet, reset your Roll20. Let's come back in 15 minutes, which would be 4:25, with a fresh connection to the internet, okay? And we'll see if we can't alleviate some of these problems. All right, folks?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okey-doke.
Burn your incense over your computer. We'll see you in 15. See ya.
All right.
Let's move away from the
Everybody.
battle music that never happened.
Hey, Noah.
Yes. Hello, Noah.
Hello.
All right. Well, back into it. All of you eventually finish your research for now. I mean, honestly, Kravish, Iona, you guys could spend months in this library and still not learn everything here. It is a wealth of knowledge. But you guys did learn some stuff, and obviously, at some point later date, if something interests you, revisit that subject. Maybe it requires going somewhere else and reading stuff. But yeah, it was an informative little library session. Your need for sustenance, however, overrides your curiosity, and all of you gather in the dining hall of the temple. It's a rather naturally uneventful ritual. Bowls are passed out. You can all sit together or staggered amongst the crowd. Koza flaps his way into the main hall as a hawk, and you watch him just sort of explode into his giant furry self as he joins you all. And yeah, indeed, the bowls are passed along, and it's not too long after that before large cauldrons are kind of spaced out every like 20-30 people, and you are all spooned out a very savory looking gruel that does not look like prison food. It looks like a nice stew. And I will leave it up to you all if there's anything you'd like to do or say or plan or talk amongst themselves before we end the dinner scene and end the night. We can start right down the list, and if anybody, we'll start with Kravish. Your nose is filled with the aroma of a stew you've never had before. Seems plain, but made with very, very good ingredients. There's a grainy, meaty, savory smell to it.
Okay. So I will dive in greedily.
Yeah.
Stuff that down. And then
there's really good loaves of sourdough bread too.
Oh yeah. So
Flying all day. He's hungry.
Yeah. And then about halfway through, I kind of lean over towards Maeven, and I'm like, would it be okay if I started to play in here? This sounds like a great place for like some dinner music or something.
Probably not. Wait until after the meal.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's more of like I'm way more fun than the rest of the people here.
The three small goat Firbolg children are only 2 seats away from where Kravish and Maeven are sitting. And the 3 of them have been staring at the 2 of you since you walked in. Yeah, Maeven, you kind of settle into a spot where you kind of jockey yourself, where you find your old like sitting place that you kind of had. You know, everyone in the lunchroom has a seat. You had yours, and you kind of found yours and slid into it. And Tosh sits across and adjacent to you, and where the place that she sat. And everybody else kind of orbits around you and settles into a spot. But you found your seat.
Yeah.
It's got your butt divot like perfectly.
Exactly where I wanted.
Tosh just kind of grabs a big spoon and fills her bowl with the sloppy stew that you've had 100 times before. And you still think that they use a little too much garlic in the mix, but it's comforting. It tastes like home. Tosh just kind of leans on her wrist the way she did whenever she had to eat this. And she just kind of looks up at you with this, sister please kind of look. And she kind of looks over at the rest of the group and is like, so y'all are gonna go upstairs and see the big man later, huh?
Yeah. Our plan was to leave right after sunrise prayer.
Right. You mind if I tag along?
Of course not.
I feel like we both got something to tell that we've seen in the past, and I don't know. I feel like
corroboration is always good.
Yeah. Okay. So, Kravish, how was your day? And she just kind of bats her whole expression changes, and she flashes into a butterfly batting of her eyes over at Kravish. And Kravish, you see this dainty human woman kind of, just sort of warm up. You see kind of an aura of warmth around from behind her, just sort of surround, and she just kind of, you notice that her eyelashes, they almost look like she's kind of like waving her hands at you.
It went well. Thank you for asking. Spent a great deal of time in the library.
And she just kind of leans towards Maeven and gives Maeven a bit of side eye and is like, "Oh, great, he's a nerd."
Yes. All of these people are book people. Except for maybe Baranor down there.
Yeah. Baranor is currently nursing what looks like a tall wooden tankard of ale. And right now, he's the only one who's drinking ale besides a big group of monks that he's sitting next to. He's like 4 places down from everybody else. He's not like on the other side of the room. But he just kind of raises his tankard and he's like, "Hey, they have a meadery," and raises this tankard of mead and just drains this mug in one go and slams it down. And he's just like, "It's pretty good too. You should try it."
You're not going to be able to keep up with them. Promise.
Iona, as you sort of sit around these long tables, mostly made up of the monk student body, a very monastic type of atmosphere, not unlike your upbringing, in a structured kind of organization of worship, while also having some. They definitely look more structured than the Talentar. They're very disciplined. They all kind of, they start to march next to each other when they gather in large groups. You saw them outside in sort of a coordinated kata dance-like recital of these techniques and skills that they employ. So it's not terribly different. The difference between the way you grew up and this table is the warmth you feel. and there was an air of distrust and nervousness in Deadmarsh. Whereas this place, it's showing you an even different kind of facet of humanity that is to offer you beyond the walls of your swamp-like childhood. You've seen many different avenues that people live their lives with that are different than yours, and the warmth is what really kind of cracks a smile you didn't expect to feel just on like the right corner of your mouth. Like an entire city of people, all dedicated to one deity, but accepting of you guys. And there's also, other people here that aren't dressed in monk's clothes for whatever purposes they're here for. It's just, again, a nice encounter with another culture.
Yeah,
the stew is also really good.
Yeah, I had a feeling the food would be decent, or at least compared to what the towns have, where there's always some poison in it, even if it's not very much. There's always some just residual. But yeah, Iona's definitely been looking around this place and thinking she's seen the Talontar, she has seen the Walking Rot, and this is sort of an example of what a religious sect can be when it's not absolutely awful. And also just because there's some younger people in it as well, which wasn't really what you got in the Talontar. She and her brother were pretty much the only people who were as young as they were within the Talontar. You don't get many sort of children, teenagers there. It's more adults tend to join. And so that's a bit unusual as well. Though also Iona is very much on her best behavior, because while she herself isn't really evil, she just is sort of a little paranoid that someone here is just going to sort of be able to smell the connection to an evil deity on her, so to speak, or just smell the poison somehow. Yeah. So she's very much best behavior, just trying to be one of the travelers passing through.
Well, give me an insight on how everyone is sort of taking in your presence. Yeah, for the first time, I would say, in all the different environments you've been in since you met the Crown Collectors, I'll say that you're able to sort of breathe a sigh of relief and really kind of just smell the food and not try to get a gauge on if you smell the sweat of distrust or nervousness from people. Sort of a fight or flight response kind of a thing. You feel yourself actually able to just listen to the conversation around you. I mean, you just passing conversation around you at this table, you hear that one of the monks rolled his ankle yesterday playing rollerball, and you don't know what rollerball is and what does that mean, and somebody else is having a consistent mouse problem under his dresser, and all these little quaint dips into the lives of these regular, ordinary people. Yes, they worship a completely different deity than yours, and you're sort of trying to rationalize your curiosity when you notice that at the back of the dining hall, where you thought you could have sworn it was just a blank wall, there are 3 tall, empty, dark doorways. 3 of them. And nobody seems to be coming in or out of them.
I'm going to sort of look around and try to gauge if anyone else had noticed that, because I I trust what I can see. If I think there was just a wall there before, I'm pretty sure there was just a wall there before. I'm trying to see if anyone else is reacting to this.
Yeah, your passive perception is pretty good enough to see that nobody is bouncing into these doorways. No one is paying them any attention. And you also notice that the adjacent wall that kind of connects to one side of this back wall where these 3 gate-like doorways are is also sporting like 5 or 6 doorways. And they're all very dark, and people are just walking by them. And no one's coming in, no one's going out. And so there's like 7 or 8 of these vacant, dark doorways. And you start to notice that this whole structure was very Eastern in its motif. There were like scaled roof tiles, and there was sort of framed wooden panels on the walls with like kind of like paper doorways and things like that. This whole corner where these walls are, it's all sandstone. There's like crossing shadows, and towering above the back of this hall, by a good 4 or 5 feet tall, is a golden tabaxi humanoid, paying nobody attention but you, but looking like vastly beyond you as well, with her golden eyes, her dreadlocks tumbling back behind her head. And she just kind of stands there and regards these doors and gives you a nod, an acknowledgement that you take as it's on you now. And you kind of shake your head a little, and she's walking into the crowd beyond through an actual doorway that leads maybe to a kitchen. And you look back, and those doorways are gone. That Eastern style on the walls has returned. There's a couple of crossed spears mounted to the wall, look really nice. Koza, you and Kurvish both kind of notice Iona sort of staring into a corner over everyone's shoulder, and a little singular tear just kind of drops from her eye.
I sort of just whisper as loud as is necessary to get her attention. Just check in. You doing all right?
The Lady Bast is...
I missed that entire thing. Evidently resetting my computer did not exercise the demons.
Where did you lose who?
Right when Koza said, I whisper, silence.
Rip. Go ahead, Koza.
I whisper as loud as is necessary and check in on Iona and make sure she's all right. You doing all right over there?
Iona is going to return equally quietly. The Lady Bast
Look over the way she
showing herself to me. You know why my current situation is complex. I've spent my whole life with certain favor, which is now gone. So I still have power from it. And as much as Bast may have an interest in me, I know that we would not suit. We would not fit. So, while I appreciate her kindness, and I will not deny that she saved my life, I cannot follow that particular path.
Well, first, thank you for sharing that with me. That was probably a very personal and intimate moment, and I'm honored to be included in knowing that. Second, I understand where you're coming from, and you have every right to still need time to process where your life has taken you, but don't let it be all that moves you forward. Take your time to learn from it and live with it, but let it then be your past and make a new present for yourself. Because it's just as important to make new experiences as it is to have old ones.
Maeven is going to nod and that in. And then just sort of very quietly, because she's not used to admitting this level of vulnerability at all, say, then why does it feel that the present is just a limbo between a past that I understand and a future that I cannot conceive of?
Eleanor is going to raise his tankard and down another one.
I will sort of give you a knowing nod and let you return to yourself. And I'll sort of turn my attention back to the rest of the table.
Yeah. Yeah, Baranor is currently drinking out of a particularly familiar silvered tankard. Kravish would definitely recognize what this is. And, yeah, Baranor he downs almost one after another of
Did he steal one of my flasks? Did he steal one of my flasks?
You look.
Did he take the never puke?
He may have. You don't see it in your inventory. I don't know if you're carrying your full gear pack with you.
Probably not. I probably have it stowed in a dorm or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks just like it from as far away as he is.
Son of a bitch.
You also notice
He's a
that
rogue.
a large, half ogre type fella in front of him, across the table, is drinking out of the Everpuke.
Oh,
Bastard.
God.
get his ass.
And he is not looking good.
Bastard.
Oh my god. Oh
And,
my god.
Yeah, Baranor is gonna. You know what? Baranor is going to roll perception at disadvantage. He got a natural 20
Nice.
and a 17, so that's pretty good. He is able to clock you, and
I am glaring at him.
he's able to clock Kravish, who's clocking him, and he notices Kravish noticing the Never Puke and Everpuke, and he's going to look back at Kravish, and he's going to tip his mug at you, and he's going to take another drink.
Conniving bastard. I sort of lean in with Kravish and just go, look at how fucking smug he is about it.
I know.
Go
I hit him in
fucking
the
get him,
face.
dude. That's your flask.
Not in the dining hall, guys.
Yeah, I'll start in the motion of like I'm starting to get up. Just kind of scooching my little bench out.
I'm gonna grab the back of his. I'm never gonna beat him in the strength contest, but I'm going to grab the back of his armor.
Standing up.
I'll put my hand on his shoulder and sort of sit him back down.
You can beat his ass later, okay? Not now.
Not now. Okay.
Later.
We need to be inconspicuous.
Yeah.
Not in the middle of the dining hall.
The night kind of, culminates in a very similar way. Dinner ends, people finish and toddle off, and some go back for seconds and then toddle off. You guys have kind of been filled with your meal and conversated and shared your storied day's worth of events. Baranor is going to relay that he and Luna had a very nice day, that they went hunting in the woods that surround the forests of the cliffs below the monastery, and didn't catch anything, but scared some elk and had a good time doing it. And he's also going to report that the puppies are becoming more and more reluctant to come back to their mother when they go out hunting. It's taking longer and longer for her to kind of bark them back. It's just something that he noticed.
Little baby's gonna leave the nest soon.
So,
and I'm gonna remind Baranor to at least wash those flasks before he puts them back in my backpack where they originally belonged.
Yeah, he nods, but says, "I don't know what you're talking about," and downs another half of his tankard.
Mm-hmm.
If there is anything anybody else would like to discuss or do before the night ends, and it will eventually end, not with a crash and a party. I mean, everyone in this place is pretty disciplined and to be rather quiet. And after they've had their dinner meal, they go off to do their nightly duties.
Yeah. I'm going to, just kind of wander out over into the courtyard area, and I don't know, just the serenity, the beauty, the quiet, the stillness. It's just kind of inspiring me just to play a nice little, very bucolic sounding song on my mandolin.
You're out in the courtyard where everybody was practicing earlier?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, give me a performance check and do it at advantage, please. Let's see how high we can get this.
Didn't roll very well. 22.
22 is pretty good. I'll say that you swing your mandolin out into its comfortable grip under your arm. You wrap your claw around the neck. You twist the adjustment knobs a couple times and then strike a chord just right. You're a little nervous because you know that this is a regimented culture. You didn't hear a lot of music aside from one or two people in the corner of halls posted up, knees folded and blowing into a flute. You did hear a little of that, but not a lot. And as you kind of think of a quiet tune, just a reflective and observational kind of happy-go-lucky tune, you hear next to you the grinding of a stone as a little gnomish fellow with this shocking white mohawk of hair and just a chin soul patch beard, with these little tiny stubby feet, grind the stone next to you and sit upon it and just look up at you. And he's got a little pan flute. And he just kind of looks up at you and says, "What you feeling today, Dragonborn?"
I'll look down to him and I will speak to him in gnomish, Well met, sir. Just enjoying the peace and tranquility.
and in Gnomish. He gives you a little smile, hearing his native tongue. It's a smile that your passive insight tells you he probably hasn't heard in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of gives a quiet smile, and his huge little gnomish teeth, as he smiles ear to ear, feels like he probably hasn't smiled in a long time like this. And he just kind of nods his head up at you. And he's, by the way, he is tiny compared to you. He's about a little bigger than your whole foot. And he just kind of sits on this rock with his little tiny stubby feet sticking straight out. And he says, "I like that. Let's do it then." And he just kind of whistles into his little pan flute. It's a simple instrument, and you kind of follow his lead and pluck this little, just sort of a melancholy skipping around, think of a waving wheat field and notes of, a summer breeze amidst the cold. It is rather chilly up here. In the embers from nearby constantly burning fire pits just sort of send cinders into the wind above as you look up at the stars that begin to twinkle through the darkness. The morning comes to you all. Most of you rise with a rather clear head. Last night was not terribly raucous for most of you. Many of you see that Baranor has either risen up very early and gone outside, or perhaps never occupied a cot at all.
Option 2 seems more likely.
Yep. Maeven?
Yes.
Your friend Tash is up always. For some reason, she finds a way to be up earlier than you. But not this morning. This morning, you walk by her cot, and she is like folded in a, ass in the air, face down. Her one arm dangling over her cot, the other one draped across the back of her neck, and her hair is all messy, just snoring away. And you find a funny, rare opportunity to be able to wake her as you see fit.
She's just going to jump on her and yell like a sibling would do. Ah! Like that, shake her away. Come on.
Yeah.
You're gonna be late. Come on.
She's going to kick you, so I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okie.
She's going to straight up thunder kick you, by the way. She's putting a key point. She's putting the first key point of the day into it.
Dun, dun, dun. Dexterity saving throw. Another 30. Another.
Oh boy, yeah. So she goes to kick at you, and you kind of didn't see it coming, but you're pretty reactive. So she kicks you. It cracks a bolt of lightning that wakes up 7 people in every direction, and you kind of slice to the side, and she kind of straightens up, and she's looking almost at you, and her hair's in her face, and she's like, "All right, I'm up. Jeez."
Come on, we gotta get to prayers. Then we gotta head out. So let's go. Chop chop.
The rest of you, Kravish, Iona, you all kind of wake up. Koza, you had to take a solitary room. You weren't able to find a bunk big enough to hold you, so you took one of the singular rooms that were available.
Mm-hmm.
But you all kind of meet in the main hall leading to other places. You can smell breakfast brewing in the hall.
Yum.
Yep. So
at some point, if anybody wants to do something to start their day, there's really you still don't see a sign of Baranor. He hasn't joined anybody in the halls. You don't see him in the dining chamber. Him or Luna, they're both missing. But, breakfast is simple. It's, potatoes and sausage and little egg, and, there might be some, rolled grape leaves and stuff like that. A lot of easy breakfast stuff. And towards the end of breakfast, Shard kind of is marching up and down the aisles. It looks like he's kind of keeping an eye on some people, and maybe you see him like going from person to person up and down talking to them, and he gets closer to you guys, and you realize that he's talking about today's orders for people, and kind of clearing things up with those on their plans and stuff like that. And he finally makes his way up near you and says, "Firebug, how did you sleep?"
Wonderfully, thank you.
And he just kind of folds his arms behind his back and kind of gives you that Morpheus energy. And he's just like, "Well, it's been a long time since you've seen Master Zhang Wen. And I just want you to know that he'll be glad to see you, and it'll be good for him."
Yeah?
Yes.
Nice.
And he's just going to kind of look side to side a little bit and say, "He doesn't see many people, but when I messaged him and told him you had returned, I knew he would want to see his Maeven once again." We all would have. So just be honest with him and relay this information to him as well as you can, and the Master will bring down the orders necessary to combat this occurrence. And he's going to kind of his arms go wide as he pats the shoulders of Koza on this side and Kravish on the other, and he's like, "Well, good luck on your journey up the mountain, all." And remember, Maeven, that the third gap, it's further than you think it is.
Third gap. I'll remember.
Good. Well, good luck to you all. Must get on with my day. And he kind of slaps you on the arm, Kravish, and what you are able to glean as a innocuous kind of gesture, but even at your height, it almost knocks you on your feet.
Okay.
So, yep. Yeah, if there's nothing anybody wants to do to prepare for what you are going to be doing,
I'm packing a water skin and some extra rations for the long walk. Checking to see if my flasks have been returned.
Nope, you have not seen them or Baranor.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when that's done, I will. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's fine. I'll get my gear and get ready.
All right.
Is anybody else coming with us, or is everybody else just staying down here?
I'm going to say, well, Tosh is coming, and she's going to kind of look around saying, "This concerns all of you. You're all welcome. There's no forbidden rule against outsiders meeting Zhang Wen. It's up to you if you want to make the trip. and she kind of thumbs behind her, and you can see that the monastery is up against the edge of this mountain's cliff edge, and there's a small path that leads like away, and it looks like it gets colder and snowier the further up the mountain you get. So let's say who is going and who is staying. Kravish, you're going, yes?
Of course.
Maeven is going. Baranor is not here. Iona. Would Iona be going, or is she going to stick around the base near the temple?
I mean, I think it would depend on what the others do. If it seems to be more of a Maeven and Kravish type thing, then she'll probably stay. And also because the whole trying to keep her head down thing. However, if it starts to look like the majority of the party are going, she will come with.
Okay. You'll notice that Tash is also going, and there are two of these humble monk attendants that seem to be following the group as well. It looks like maybe they're gonna gather wherever you are. They've got a rucksack of supplies as well. So yeah, they're not going up by themselves.
Yeah, she might go with them just to experience it.
Okay, yeah. It definitely looks like everybody is grabbing warm gear. Just putting that out there. The monks are throwing furs over their shoulders, things like that. Maybe this is a colder region of the area, just so you guys know. Koza, how about you?
I am definitely going.
All right, and what about Yuno? Is Yuno going or staying?
No way is going up the fucking mountain.
All right. In that case, be ready, to roll a couple of investigation checks for me, because I have a feeling you're probably going to stick around that library a little more, and there will be other things that you can learn. But for the rest of you, Maeven, Tosh, you two sort of know this pathway by heart as you all round a corner leading away from the temple, but along the side of the ridge that snakes up this mountain. You see this great gate. Through the gate, you can see are hanging feathers of various colors. Looks like they've been here a while. They're rather large. Some of them look like they used to be white, but they've dirtied and with windswept breezes up here. Looks like there's also maybe some pink feathers, but they've also kind of been crusted over age to look kind of a deep orangey red. Beyond this gate lies a path, and you can see where it wants you to go. It starts out with carved granite stone steps. Looks like it kind of goes uphill rather quickly. So I just need an athletics check from everybody that's going. So that's pretty much everybody except for Yuno, who is safe in the warm library. As you start to snake your way up the mountain. Koza, I will say this very clearly. This pathway does not even start out comfortable for someone of your size to walk. And you can see that as it goes up the mountain, the pathway either gets really, really narrow or disappears altogether.
Well, then Koza's going to turn into a monkey.
A monkey kind of coat. What does a Koza monkey look like?
He's got like white fur and that pink fucking face that they all have. And he's climbing the steps how a monkey would.
Yeah, I would say you don't even need to roll athletics, even though you got a 7. I'll say that 7 is just you on the
really fast and decides a monkey is the better way to go.
Yeah, you get 3 steps up these stairs, and just you see him go nope.
Upward to 350. It is hard to move him upstairs.
Yeah. Yeah, but not now. Not now. You're just sort of scaling on the edge and dancing along the rim and kind of skipping up the stairs. Kravish, you slip and fall. I'm sorry. Right away. You don't fall down the mountain. That would be a natural 1. But you definitely do. That's not what I meant to roll. You definitely take 5 points of bludgeoning damage on your shins as you slip, fall, and catch yourself before you slide all the way back to the bottom. Sorry. Maeven, you definitely see this, as does Tash and everybody else.
Ow.
And I'll say one of the attendants, one of the accompanying monks that are kind of making this journey with all of you, catches you by the ankle and stops you from sliding past him. He's small. He looks like he's about halfling size, but as he looks up at you, Kravish, his eyes they flash gold real quick before going back to brown.
Okay.
And he's just kind of you hear him say, "Oh, excuse me, sir. I got you there. Let's get you up the mountain now."
All right. I'll just, thank you.
All right.
Here.
Who else?
Thank you.
Who else beefed it? I don't think anybody else. Yeah, everyone else did good except for Koza. Yeah, that's 7. Good idea. Changing it into a monkey, because that's 7. I could have had fun with that 7. A dragonborn slides 3 steps down and knocks you over, and you slide all the way to the bottom. The journey up the first leg of this mountainside is met with a very fast change in climate. It was chilly at the temple. It is right around early spring right now, and being so high above sea level was bound to have a chilling effect on the temple grounds, and it was. This, however, is different. It has changed. There is a crispness in the air. It's not nearly as it's drier. It's like a dry, snowy sort of crispness that you feel when you get up early on a winter morning. And the cherry blossoms that constantly waft through the air are replaced with large, sporadic, clumpy snowflakes. Those of you who changed into something warm, I'm assuming everybody dressed for the occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as cold as you'd imagine it would be further north, even in the tundras up north. So it's not like like a frigid, blizzardy, glacial conditions, but it's pretty cold, and you can all see your breath. And as you walk along, these stairs start to crumble into rock. And you realize that the trail ahead is not really as paved as some of you would have liked it to be. And you find yourselves grasping a rope that has been pinned to the rock face for leverage. So I'll just need everybody to go ahead with an athletics check.
All right. After that first little bit there, I am going to, for Koza and myself, I am going to cast Enhance Ability.
All right.
Since we're the ones clearly sucking wind right here.
What does that do?
Koza's a monkey, just to remember that. Koza is a dexterous monkey now.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Since these are all athletics checks.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and cast Bull's Strength,
All right.
which will give us an advantage to strength checks.
Okay.
So I'm going to make those athletic checks at advantage.
Well, this is going to be. Did I say athletics? I think I meant acrobatics.
Well, then I reverse that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I meant acrobatics because you're gripping the rope. You're trying to keep your footing.
All right. All right. Acrobatics. Likely better
Yep.
than that.
So let's get an acrobatics from everybody on the mountain.
Come on, don't
Roll.
Hey, that's not bad.
Oh, the Sherpa's got a natural 20. And Tosh got a 17. Acrobatics. Iona. Oh my goodness. Iona
she's
falls
not
off the
used
cliff.
to this type of landscape at all. She grew up in a swamp where the only thing you could climb was buildings and occasionally, if they got big enough, trees.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you're all also on difficult terrain. I don't know if anybody has mountains as their favorite terrain, but there it is. So Iona, I'm not gonna say you slip and fall on anything. You are on the side of this mountain's edge with like this, 2-inch wide ledge that you're all kind of like towing along and holding onto this rope above your head, and you freeze. Not literally, it's not that cold here, but you become momentarily paralyzed. And as you do, you see one of these monk attendants who is just behind you, kind of shimmy along a little closer, and you hear in your ear, "Come on, girl," and it sounds like Daunt. "Come on, get up. You can do it. It's not that hard. Let's go. I got you." And he's gonna actually take his hand and place it over yours. Now he looks like kind of like a halfling, so he's a little shorter than you, and he's got kind of like a real bright, pale halfling skin. But his eyes, they flash gold around the iris, and you recognize that as Dawn's eye color. And before flashing back to brown, and he nods at you, and you feel your hand just with a little more strength as you straighten your ankles and shimmy down to where there's a little bit better footing.
Joe, sorry, you cut out there again.
Oh, okay. Where did I lose you? Oh, she's starting it over. Can you hear me now, Elle? Yeah, that's what it looks like. Did I lose everybody?
No.
Am I back? Can
You're back.
blame me?
You are
Okay.
back.
It sounds like everybody else heard what I was saying. So where did I lose you?
Okay, yeah, Dawn was telling Iona to just sort of, move on. And, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And he kind of grasps your arm, and you feel, a warmth in his hand that, is a little familiar, although he's got small hands right now. He looks like a halfling. And you find your footing until you, he, and everybody else on the rope kind of toddle over to a section of the path that is a little easier on the terrain.
Yeah, I'm sort of giving him a nod, but I'm not going to give him away, so I'm not going to do more than that.
Yeah. He kind of blends in with the other two, monks that are here. Tash is going to kind of lean on her quarterstaff, but she's not quite as heavily dressed as all of you. It seems like she can kind of get away with not bundling up nearly as heartily as like, a Koza would have, or as Maeven is. Maeven does not like being cold. But she kind of bounces along this freshly easier path, and her ponytail behind her kind of bounces along with her, and she's like, "So, what's the plan when y'all are done talking to the master?"
We're headed out to Iraq.
Come down the mountain.
Yeah, we're gonna come down the mountain. Yeah, we have passage on a ferry over to Baraxos to try to figure more stuff out.
Baraxos, huh?
Yeah.
That'll be fun. Make sure you say hey to those fellers over there at the outpost. I'm sure they haven't seen a lady like you or me in a long time. So you make sure they keep their stinky pits off of you.
That'll be too easy.
And she kind of looks over at Kravish, and she gives you this look, and she kind of looks down, like if she were wearing glasses, she'd be looking over her glasses at you. And she kind of whispers towards you, you don't really have to, because she could probably whip the shit out of you too, but you keep her safe, you hear me?
You don't think I don't already know that?
And she just kind of gives you a humping nod. She's like, damn right. And she looks at you, Maeven. She's like, I like him.
That's unsurprising to me. You two are ridiculous.
And you guys all kind of grasp the next leg of the pathway, which is regrettably across a gap. It is a 10-foot gap. You can all look down right at the edge where the wind is beginning to pick up. See you, Ken. Ken's got to go. Yeah, you look down at where the edge of the gap is, and you notice that there are several divots in the rock, as if hundreds, if not thousands, of like pole vaulting quarterstaffs were placed here as they vaulted across the gap. That is the traditional way, Maeven, that you and Tash were raised to make this journey. So she just digs her quarterstaff in one of those divots, and you watch her fling herself across this gap easily. It's only 10 feet. It's quick. She does it fast. So, what's our marching order? Do we want to go with Discord, or you guys want to roll some initiative?
Discord's fine with me.
All right. Well, Maeven, you're up. Or excuse me, Kravish, what are you doing after Tash? We'll say that Tash just jumped in front of the both of you.
Okay.
What does Kravish do?
Let's see. What is my long jump? What is my jumping distance?
Good God.
Long jump. Let's see. When you make a long jump, you cover a number of feet up to your strength score. So I can move up to 14 feet.
Okay.
All right. So I can make that long jump pretty well.
Okay.
So I'm going to look over towards Iona. I'm looking at her like, you think you can make that?
I mean, it's your strength score, right?
It's whatever your strength score is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my strength is 12, actually. So, for a 10-foot gap, I should just about be able to make it.
Okay.
All right.
So you just got to make a... Well, there's no... Okay, so okie dokie. So, because my other option I was going to think is like I could like pick Iona up and I could make that jump while holding on to her.
Yes, you could. The question is, do you?
I was like, well, I'll look over towards her and it's like, I can help you out if you need it.
Yeah, I mean, because it's just my strength draw, would I need to roll for it, or are we just saying?
Yeah, you'd roll. Yeah, you would roll an athletics check, and I would lower or raise the DC depending on what your score is.
Okay. I mean, it depends. Kavish, how confident do you feel about us making it? How confident do you seem?
How confident do I seem? I said 10 feet ain't that bad for me.
So you have enhanced ability on what? Dex?
Strength.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, alright, in that case, Iona will trust whatever Kravis is doing to make himself feel easier to make it, and she will guidance you.
Ooh.
Okay. So I'm picking her up. I'm holding her, in my arm, her arms around my neck, and I'm going to take about a 10 foot, 10, 12 foot back, and I'm going to run and leap.
And she draws from her Talona magic as her hair grows dark and her eyes, leak this black oil as she looks at you, and you just see her go, "You can do it."
You have to do it, or we both die.
She strengthens your resolve by scaring you into doing a good job.
Uh-huh. All right, so you said an athletics check?
An athletics check, please. This is just the 10-foot gap.
Nat 20 for a 24.
Yeah.
Guidance anyway.
Plus guidance.
Oh, plus guidance.
No reason.
Yeah.
So 26.
Okay, so Maeven, I want to know how you jumped across this gap.
I would do just with the pole vaulting situation.
Yeah. Very similar to Tasha's form, although yours is much more efficient and technical. Hers has a little bit of a flourish as she kind of cartwheels across the gap a little bit. Yours is much more mechanical and direct, and you just sort of zip across that gap. And you turn around to kind of show off to Kravish a little, just between you and him, look at how simple and awesome that was. And you watch as you turn around to watch him. He's got Iona scooped up in a fireman's carry, and he just rolls his hip and does this double backflip over the gap, holding Iona, and it looks like a gyro. She doesn't hardly move, and he lands next to you, 1 foot then 2 feet to soften the blow, almost silently, and places Iona down next to you, and the three of you are now caught in this awe of awesomeness.
See? Told you. No problem.
I'm going to say, just based on that the rest of the journey is relatively uneventful. It gets blistering. It gets very windy up here as the snow begins to thicken in its curtain-like falling down the mountainside. Eventually, though, you reach a crest.
Yeah.
More of a... You got me?
Yeah.
Okay. Did I cut out again?
Oh, you've been doing that all day.
Oh, God.
Nothing dude real different.
Okay. What a nightmare. You guys eventually cross another gap It's a little long. It's a little wider. It's about 12 feet deep, but you get across one way or another. Like Koza, you're a monkey. You just sort of leap across, no problem. With little. And the third gap, however, as predicted, is further than you think. Some of you get across through magical means. Some of you zip over in various ways using your athletic abilities or apparati. But eventually you get to the top, and there is kind of like the way in the movie 300, there was that gap between two cliffs that they had to march through. That's what you find at the top of the mountain. Until you notice that it was just so cool. The top of the mountain you find is a little strangely warmer and calmer. It doesn't feel quite as frigid. In fact, you can kind of see the sky directly above the mountain. And you round this corner where these rocks are split until you come to a clearing. And you're met immediately with a large object. It looks like more intricate than a carving. It almost looks like intricately placed blocks, and then carved out of these intricately placed blocks, a huge stone snake statue up here. You see that. And it's coiled around itself probably 3 or 4 times before its upper torso, and its head is kind of like kneeling and looking out at the direction of the ocean. And you kind of see that this is where the path ends. You don't see a way up, although you do notice that the summit goes up a little higher. Not by much, but probably like 50 feet it goes up. And, Maeven, you would know that as Erevorn Peak. It's just, there's really no way up there. People have climbed it, especially the younger folk have climbed it. But it's pretty treacherous, and there's nothing up there, besides maybe a few coins or keepsakes people have left over the years. But this to be the home of Master Zhang Wen, who is not, you don't see him. But you can see clearly out into the ocean beyond to the west. And you can almost, in fact, as you kind of crest this area and you can see more of the ocean now, let's have a perception check from anybody that kind of wanders their gaze out into the ocean.
Nat 20 for a 32.
Ooh.
I also got it at 20, but only for a 28.
27, but not that 20.
Nice.
We are so perceptive right now.
You guys seriously are the masters of needless rolls.
Exactly.
Legitimately.
Then when it's time for a clutch attack, I roll a 4.
Last session I rolled 3 5s on dexterity checks. I was like, this is bullshit.
Oh, wait a minute. We're almost all locked in.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ay.
What are we going to do with you, Koza?
He's just giving off big golden retriever energy, I'm just happy to be here. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I'm just happy to be here.
No doubt. So Koza, as a monkey, you kind of there's like a ridge or like a not a guardrail, but like almost like a carved stone buttress that sort of prevents you from just spilling out over the cliff and tumbling down the mountain. And as a monkey, you hop up there, and as everyone else is kind of looking out to sea, and I'll explain what you guys see in a second. You notice, Koza, that huge snake statue that was just there is not there anymore. And you kind of look around. I'm guessing in wild shape you retain your intelligence, so you don't really have any way of communicating this with anybody, but you find it really strange, so you give a monkey squeak. Everybody else, as you peer into the mist and steam and the oceans beyond, you can see way off into the horizon. You guys are thousands of feet above sea level right now, at the top of a huge mountain, so you're able to see pretty far. And crossing the ocean about 60 miles away, you see the very hint of an uneven patch of the horizon beyond. You aren't really super familiar with seeing land from afar, but this definitely looks like it could be, or it's distant clouds that are sort of breaking up the thin line of the horizon. But you definitely get the feeling like that's it. Yeah, you saw in the distance what looks like the broken, uneven nature of maybe a low mountain range in the far distance. And you get the feeling that like that's probably it. But it's very far. It's at least 60 miles away. And the only reason you can see it is because you're on top of a mountain.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. And as you turn around, all of you notice what Koza has been noticing, that snake statue is not there.
But I know what that means.
Yeah, you know what that means.
I
mean, you've never...
All,
I said that, there, is that better? Yeah, can you hear me now, Corey?
yeah, I got you now.
Okay. It was rude of that snake guy to leave. Yeah, you know what that means, Maeven. You've never seen this happen before, but you know it's capable.
Okay, Maeven, where did the big stone snake go?
We're about to see.
We're about to see as in, like, straighten up the boss is coming, or better draw your weapon, wait and see?
Option 1.
Option 1, you hope. Okay.
Yeah.
Kravish, above your head, you hear a booming voice. I do not consider myself a snake. And you hear a flapping of like bird-like wings. And you all look up and notice something like orbiting the top of of your, not top of the mountain, above your head in like almost a perfect ring that quickly descends through this blanket of mist that seems to follow it everywhere and obscure what you can see. And you see as it coils down and finally reveals its face, you see a serpentine creature with a similar facial structure to the snake, but different features. two giant bird-like wings of pink and white feathers, a long aquamarine scaled serpent-like body, and a head that looks part lizard, part lion, part dog, part reptile, part mammal, with a mane of pink and white feathers that settles its whole body where the statue was. You see this fine fella. Oh, hold on. There you go. It descends and settles its undulating, coiled body, spreads its wings wide. They're like 40 feet end to end. This is a massive, massive creature. Its small, beady, deep-set eyes squint and look at all of you. And he flaps his wings until they fold slightly, and he lays on his side, crowning his head around and looking at all of you. Tash instantly drops to, he does not a bow, but she drops to one knee with her knuckles to the base of the ground.
Observe does the same, just because that's what everybody's doing at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, this looks like kind of one of those win in Rome sort of things, so I will also go to a knee.
Uh-huh. Maeven, I'm guessing you're following suit.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. You hear, you see above you, his features warm into a grin. Please, please, not so low. I am but a humble servant of Pelor. His voice is very deep, very almost slowed and raspy, but with this warmth that radiates. You also notice in the middle of his chest, where like a necklace jewel would hang, you see his scales look like they're colored in a way to form a starburst pattern right under his like neck area. It's very reminiscent of a Pelorian symbol. Maeven, I will have you make a. I would like you to make a medicine check for me.
Yeah, let's go. 13.
13?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He looks older than the last time you saw him. And the last time you saw him, you were a kid.
Oh, wow.
Okay? You, at least in this form, you were a kid. And he looked much more vibrant. And you know that was, what, like hundreds of years ago? But
about 100 years ago.
yeah, you know that he shouldn't look this old for what he is. Yeah. And his eyes just kind of scan the rest of you, who aren't reacting with as much shock and surprise as you would expect someone seeing this. So he kind of clocks that about you, and he kind of smirks and says, I am not the first Coatl you have seen.
I'll say, technically, you're the third.
And he's gonna kind of like absorb what you said and sigh a little. And he's going to kind of chuckle a little and say, I see you have met my sons. And you can all kind of hear, like somewhere in the distance, a wispy crackle of thunder. You must forgive them. They are but children. And you again hear that familiar crackle of thunder, and you look up and you see a green cloud of lightning and a kind of a pinkish, purpley cloud of like blistering snowfall as they converge, orbit above you, and dash down to the ground. You see in the midst of these clouds a spreading of wings, slightly smaller than Master Zhang Wen's, but more vibrant in color, and then retreat into the cloud as a whipping tail inside the cloud also retreats. The cloud dissipates, and you see these two gentlemen standing in their place. And you hear the one on the left say, "We are not children." Yeah, Pop, we're like hundreds of years old. And these two fellas approach your party. Would any of you like to punch them in the mouth? Just asking.
Oh,
I'm assuming
absolutely not.
that would not go well.
Death glare.
You see them approach, and they split off, one on either side of Maeven. And the one on the left, which you know as Sun Mie. The one on the right you know as Haro. Sun Mie steps forward and kind of gives a punch on your shoulder, Maeven. He's like, "Little sister, it is good to see you." "Yeah, Maeven, looking a little weary. Been a little rough on the road."
Oh, something like that. And she'll very politely and gently hit him in the arm back.
"Sorry about that back there. I don't know if I got you guys good or not, but just having a little bit of fun." And Sun Mie, he kind of like, you see him conjure a small cloud of green lightning in his hand. He's like, "We must keep our skills sharp like a blade in the scabbard."
It's fine. I should have warned them about it. About y'all, though. My bad.
And Sun Mie is going to disappear into a cloud of green lightning and bolt across the group and land right next to Kravish. And he's going to actually kind of like get real close to you, Kravish, and look at the singes of your clothing and be like, "Oh, sorry about that right there. I'm sure you could pay someone with the loads and loads of gold. I'm sure you have."
I mean, we do have loads and loads of gold.
In small loads.
What are you talking
And
about? No.
and Haro's gonna hearken over to Koza and say, "A lot of gold, you say, huh? Well, you need any stealth services or bodyguard work? We're for hire."
We'll discuss any future entrepreneurial plans later.
And Zhang Wen just kind of hovers above everybody, being very patient, very polite. And you see him kind of shake his head. "Boys, why must you harass every caravan and set of travelers making their way to the monastery? It's not our fault, Pop. They're just easy pickings." And Sun Mie kind of, he sort of smacks the back of his brother's head. And he's like, "He's right. If we drive all the tourists away, no one will come and join our humble temple." Yeah, you see Haro just sort of like turn around, "Hey!" and he kind of smacks his brother back, and they kind of get into a slap fight, and then the two of them burst into clouds and orbit each other above and down the mountain. Kids.
Uh-huh. Well, those two are poster children for Ritalin.
I certainly hope they have not besmirched your view of Coatls as a people. We are vigorous in our youth, but..." and he starts to cough a little. In our elder years, we can sometimes lose the vim and vigor. And, yeah, Maeven, that, when he coughs, you and Tosh both lean forward instinctively. You've never seen him do that before.
Are you okay?
Well, and he speaks rather slowly. I'll speed through it, but he's one of these that speak with a cadence that you need to have like an afternoon free if you want to have a conversation with Master Zhang Wen. But as he kind of slinks down closer to you, the rest of you, I would say, are in visible awe of this giant creature that you've never seen. None of you have ever seen a coatl before, aside from the two brothers, and you didn't really get a good look at him before. This thing is absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. It looks very, very old, but it's very draconic in its appearance. But there are these differences, like it has angelic wings, it has kind of a webbed forked tail you've never seen before, and it has like a Fu Manchu little mustache and little chin beard with this just mane of feathers that you've never seen on a dragon before. Very, very unique looking. And Master Zhang, he kind of sidles up next to you and says, "It has been hard these last few months. I don't know if I caught a cold." And he says, "I usually enjoy my human form, as you know. It has been difficult to maintain lately. But for you, my little sunbeam, I will try." And you see him squint and his wings grow. He like tightens his wings in, and you see the whole area covered in a layer of mist that envelops Zhang Wen. And toddling out of that cloud, you see this little old man teetering towards you, Maeven. And you recognize him as the way you've seen him the most, as Master Zhang Wen. "Hello, Maeven. It is so good to see you again. Now tell me about the troubling nature of this entity." And that's where we're going to end the session.
Okay.
Well, doesn't he just look like the sweetest old man?
He does, doesn't he? Look like the sweetest, nicest little old man.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I will say this: being in his just being in his presence, you all have temporary 5 hit points.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just something that you guys noticed. You also feel extremely warm up here. You also feel like you could, if you had to, live up here for the rest of your life. It just feels so peaceful and wonderful and all that you definitely feel. And the smarter of you would pick up that this is probably an otherworldly, magical kind of enhancement to your mood.
Uh-huh.
But there it is. You feel very safe up here. And you will feel very safe up here when we reconvene in 2 weeks.
Which, unfortunately, I will not be able to attend.
Okay.
Yeah, I got work that Saturday. If I were to make it, it would be after 5 p.m.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's going to be a lot of what's going on up here, and then getting ready for your journey across the sea. So you'll probably pick up where you guys have just launched the boat, probably.
Okay. Well, it was fun. Maddening audio issues notwithstanding.
I know. What is happening?
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
look into. I don't think it was me. Is the thing. I don't think it was me.
I don't think it was, because every time when I would lose.
I just lost Corey.
Did we
I didn't
ironically
do.
enough
Like,
just
I did-
lose Pravish when he was talking about being wrong?
The internet's just weird today.
That is very on brand for the internet today. All right. Well, that was. I mean, for what it's worth, folks, that was great. I had a lot of. I really got out a lot of that role play. That was very, very cool. It was very nice. Sorry for the audio issues. I had my own problems, but I think we all individually had issues today. So I think we need to burn some incense over our computers and shit.
I agree.
So why don't we do that? And I will see all of you wonderful people in 2 weeks. All right?
All right. It's been fun.
Bye bye.
See ya. Bye.
Bye, guys.